Hello, everybody. Unfortunately, there are only two of us today. We appear to be dropping like flies. We've got two people in the UK that are not well, and two of our teams are not well in the UK. And Joseph is somewhere else at the moment. I'm sure he'll join. I'm sure he'll join us in the not too distant future. But until that time, you've got me and Alvaro here, literally international as not just the UK. So,
That's
Alvaro,
right.
I will hand over to you to give us the lowdown. I think that I can't even pull that off.
Sure. Yeah, well, it's nice to be on another session here. And it's really great to see how quick the progress has been in terms of growing the platform. And but not just that, the platform is made up of people. So it's been really nice to see how much support that I could say we have been getting with every for all of our missions and our goals, and it's been great. Having the ability to um, use the platform to highlight really creative, different, um, caring people has been really a highlight of this year for me. And the fact that Rockstar and the mission just combines with music, I mean, it's just amazing for me. I really love it. So that's how I'm feeling. But the purpose of this live stream today was really to uh, talk about a recap of 2022 and the to contrast that to where we want to go in 2023. Um, the goals at the beginning of the year, I will tell you from first conversation with Joel, I mean, it was the dreams were always big. So to see that there's been as much traction as there it has been is just really, really awesome. Another thing that we want to do, I won't get into it right now, to these topics right now. It's to give shout outs to our past guests, because, like I said, without our guests, I mean, it is the whole purpose of this mission, to highlight neurodivergent individuals, and that can have a broad spectrum of meaning, very creative and caring people within their organizations too. So just a few things, more things here. Something we'd like to do as well is to recap some of our best content and moments. We'll get into what those are. And those are going to be kind of like our favorite moments. Sharing how our viewership has grown so far since we started 9 months ago, just 9 months ago. And we'll share. I have some of the data there, so we'll share that. We're going to give shout outs as well. There's some special shout outs that we want to recognize people for, and then. Um, like I said, we've touched on our plans for 2023 a little bit, but we'll go into a little bit more detail this time around. So, yeah, Joel, do you want to just kind of remind people of how this started? And when I say how this started, I mean like between the moment of I have this idea to telling people about it, and kind of who was the first person on the team, just to remind people, who was the first person on the team that you told, and what were those conversations like?
The first one on the team was initially it was Joseph. I met him through Dave Monster's group on mentoring group on Facebook, and it started from Joseph. Then it gravitated toward. I then went on LinkedIn and started telling. Well, the world didn't know who was going to click on it at that point,
Yeah.
but then a lovely introduction to Mac came along by someone in the UK, Mac, a mutual connection, Janet F. Ferry, um, who 9 months ago uh, sent a DM to Max saying, "Can you help this guy out?" He's got really I don't remember the entire details of the email,
Mhm.
but I do know that I was just simply a DM in Max box, and I'm sure uh, at now 9 months later, it was initially meant to be a with Max. It started off as a one single interview, and then it spiraled out of Max control
Yeah, that's
into
awesome.
this, and I'm sure that Mac will watch this back late when he's better, obviously. And shame he couldn't be here tonight, but
Yeah, I mean, that's great to hear. I'm reminded of like so many people, so many people believe that sharing a mission or sharing your mission or one's own missions or goals with other people is an opportunity to encounter negativity. And while it is, there's a bigger opportunity to encounter people that believe in the mission. And Joseph is an example of that. Mac, everyone in this, I'm sure everyone in this community is just from the conversations that we have with people within our community. I just know that that's the case. And the flip side of that too is that so many times we're afraid of asking people for what we want. But the reality is, like, if you were to ask, well, I won't put words in anybody's mouth, but I'll give an example for me. Joseph was the one who reached out to me. And it's easy to think that from Joseph's perspective, or somebody that is asking, it's easy to think, oh, they don't want to do anything that I'm doing. They don't care about me. They're doing their own thing. In reality, like from my perspective, I was flattered. I was really flattered. I was like, wow, okay. I must have written a good LinkedIn bio because this sounds awesome. This sounds like a great group of people to be helping, and the mission is great. And so, when opportunities like that come to you as an individual, we're always surprised and excited and open, like to helping. And it's funny that when we're on the other side of that, so many people are uncomfortable asking for what they want. So I just wanted to kind of, Joel and I have had that conversation recently, actually. And so, it's just a friendly reminder that if you as an individual like when people ask you for help, well, then think about that when you ask someone else for help. And this is all how it started. Um, we each have a individual view of how the RockstarX mission could unfold. But that's the great thing. We all agree, um, on most things, and it's never a disagreement. It's just we're just trying to figure out the best way to get there. And Joel is the person leading that mission, and so it's been great, man. I don't know how it's what's been your perspective of like growing this group, Joel?
I didn't think it would be this large, this quickly, in such a short amount of time, especially when, especially since when I thought about doing this when I got made redundant from my previous job, my last job working for someone, and
Hmm.
also in 2020, and I was at that point. I thought, okay, I'm just going to continue. I had already two students by then, so I'm going to just continue teaching and see if anything materializes. Just post casually on LinkedIn and see what happens, and then, well, a month later, the page was opened. A month, and about almost about 3 weeks later, we hit 150 followers. Hence our live streaming activity directly to the page. And now we're closing in on the 500, which is after 9 months. It's amazing, really. No other word for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, we touched on that topic a little bit here, so let's. I have some statistics here. I mean, to draw a comparison, 9 months ago, to say that we have gotten experience exponential growth is, I mean, an understatement. First of all, of course, it's exponential, right? We're 0 to 1, so that's good. But I mean, at the peak here, there have been some key moments. Um, let's see here. Giving Tuesday um, was a big event for us. But just to give you an idea, I mean, we were getting 10 views. Yeah, 3 views even on some of the pieces of content. Uh, 7, 8 months ago. Not long after, and now, let's
Wow.
see here. I mean, Giving Tuesday, just on LinkedIn, we had 162 viewers. Just that's one video, and I mean,
Jesus.
yeah. So the it's been a hockey stick of exponential growth, and that's been great to see. I mean, that's one platform. On YouTube, it's a whole other range. On Facebook, it's even more. So it's been really great. And Joel, I don't think everybody knows that you were quoted in Forbes, which I think is a huge
Not
milestone.
everyone is not everyone knows that. No, no.
That's a huge milestone for anyone, I think. I mean, I would say most people online know what Forbes is, and
I should hope so.
yeah, yeah, for their sake, right? Um, I think, and it's not so much. Uh, it's not so much that it was this. No, you weren't on the cover. Yes, that maybe that's the goal. I know you said that before, but the fact that you're on the radar is important, and that more than anything, that Joel is representing a community, and that the community is getting attention, and that there are major media publications creating content,
Yeah.
writing articles, major articles about the same types of topics that Joel envisioned RockstarX promoting from the very beginning. Uh, I know, Joel. I know that the way that came about was kind of luck, a little bit, right? It's a little bit of luck, maybe,
Oh,
but
that
also
was
by
that
the
was
fact that
yeah.
you
That
created
was
content too, though.
that
So
that
you
was that was complete luck. I mean, when Jennifer, I can't pronounce her surname, beginning with P, emailed me about they DM me and about she's writing an article for Forbes. I thought, is she having me on? I mean, so I had to look at her profile, and no, she wasn't having me on. It was a
yeah.
real deal. Um, and sure, the front page of a magazine would be nice, but I don't. I wouldn't want that. Wouldn't be the first thing on my mind. I would want the company to have the front page of the magazine, not just an individual. It's all about the community and the company, not about
Yeah.
me. I've been there, worn the t-shirt. I don't need to wear anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of lessons that I've learned being part of Rockstar. Um, you, Joel, are probably the closest I've gotten to an individual. Like, you're the closest I've gotten in terms of an opportunity to see someone create a personal brand from the very, very beginning, other than, I guess, my own. Um, and and it's really interesting because there's a lot of lessons. Like you say, it was luck, but for our viewers out there, it wasn't really luck. it was luck in the sense of you, I think what you mean by that maybe is that you weren't like a big name. So somebody found you online while kind of being early in the process. But the fact is that you honed in on a specific topic, and all of the content that you've been making over the last 9 months has been focused on a specific topic. And that's a lesson for anybody in our audience, that if you want to create a brand, or to elevate a mission or a purpose that you have, it doesn't take much. It's hard at the beginning, right? We just talked about the 0 views, 7 views at the
Oh
beginning,
yeah.
and you have hours and hours of content even before I joined. Um, so there's plenty of content, and you may say, "Oh, well, I'm not getting a lot of views." You don't. You're the perfect example. You don't need a lot of views. You need the right views. And when your content or the things that you're talking about that you're passionate about are focused, then that's all that matters, because the recognition will be there. You will get the recognition. And even if it's just, I mean, you talk about this all the time. Uh, Even if it's just a few individuals that affect other individuals that affect other individuals, that's what matters. The leverage behind making a change in one person's life. I get really passionate about these types of topics, and I could just go on and on. But
You can go on and
uh,
on if you want to, Alvaro.
how how do you feel when you're creating this content? Like, how do you, as an individual, how did you feel at the beginning? Because I've only known you as this person who creates content, right? Like I said, I joined kind of, what, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, maybe.
About that,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, and so you were already in the beginning stages of your true momentum. You were almost 6 months in at that point. Uh, are do, did you kind of force yourself into creating content? How easy or difficult was that, to, not the editing, but just like sitting in front of a camera and talking about something? How is that natural to you?
No, it was actually my YouTube job, which I filmed for a YouTube channel. Small by YouTube standard, it is small. 36,000 subscribers is small by YouTube standard. By my standard, it's when I first went into the I worked for that channel and film. I thought there's a monetization tool. I had no idea.
Yeah.
um, what universe is this? um, and watching him after the second videos, watching the um the host of that channel talk to the camera, I then felt like I go home and try it myself. And yes, I do still hate the sound of my own voice, but I've got to learn to live with it. But who doesn't love the sound of their own voice unless they're incredibly vain?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing worse than being on stage and having a delayed monitor right in your face, just screaming back at you, right? So
Yeah.
I think this might be a little bit better. You get to listen to the audio afterwards.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
I would now. When I first started, and I wasn't sure whether I'd even be doing camera or streaming, let alone public speaking. And now I'm like, whatever. Okay, let's do it.
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah.
But
And
yeah, it started. It started back then. It started when I started working for yeah, the YouTube channel, and I thought, well, let's give this shit a try.
yeah, that's great. That's great. Uh, Speaking of back then, um, I think maybe we can take a little break and give some shout outs to our first patrons.
Yep.
And if you have the list of some of our previous guests or our previous guests, that would be great. There's been some
Before we do
really
that,
amazing
before we do
highlights this year.
before we do that, we have got
Yeah.
a comment here from
Oh, great.
Hope. Uh, I can definitely help you with that. With the how to use YouTube and LinkedIn
Hmm.
Live, and so can Mac. I mean, I'm speaking for him right now. Yeah, I know, but he can do that. Here's what he does. He's a LinkedIn expert. So yeah, I can definitely help you with that. Hope at some point if he wants to. Um,
Yes. Yeah, maybe what we can do too is because, oh, sorry, I have a I have it repeating. Um, as you can see, I kind of, because of my marketing brain and my business brain, I kind of get a little meta with these types of things. And although the
yeah,
mission is still specifically focused on the neurodivergent community, I think that there's a lot of other things like what Hope
yes,
mentioned, of kind of showing people, because it's easy to say, start a podcast, record it. Well, there's plenty of content around like what you need. Like you can find an
yeah,
article maybe somewhere about what webcam to use or something like that. But there are pieces of software. How do all those things connect together? For example, StreamYard or LinkedIn Live has one process, but how do you get all those things together? And I think that's what's missing a lot of times. And I mean, it's like a digital version of what you do already as a human, Joel,
yeah,
of just connecting. And so I think other people uh, think a little bit differently that way or don't have the time to research it. And there's a lot of information. So we'll probably do that, Hope. We're not probably, we're going to do that. We'll create some content, whether it's
yeah,
written or something, or even a video. We'll explain our process because you're not the first one to mention that you're interested in something like that. So whatever's valuable to the community
yeah.
in
Whatever
reality.
valuable. And also, Alvaro, touching on the sorry, I just got
Yeah,
caught
I
by
see
your
that.
friend.
I see that question Marisol dropped there in the comments, which is, as a neurodivergent individual yourself, Joel, what is the biggest thing you want fellow neurodivergent individuals to gain from the work Rockstar X is doing?
That's
Ooh,
a
I'm
unfortunately I can't. I don't think that's there's one. I don't think there can be one answer to. I don't think there can be one answer to this. I think the common denominator of the answer would be for them to not feel the need no more to mask who they are and just be comfortable with who they are. And here we are. Um, I better stop there with that one. Otherwise, I'll be treading into other waters. And
no, I mean that's such a great answer, unmasking. I mean, can you explain a little bit? And this is kind of getting personal, but can you explain a little bit of like the ways of course, it's hard to remember specific stories unless they were particularly
yep.
traumatic. But I mean, do you have any ways that you were kind of keeping a mask on, whether that's here in your current life or even in past versions of yourself?
I was wearing a mask for well, yeah, 30 years really. Haven't really taken it off, and the reason for that is at that point when you're in school, you're about to peer pressure. When you're in
Mm,
work, you don't know any better, and you want to please your boss. Um, and it's easier for no one to find out you've got something and then to be judged based on their
wow.
stupidity knowledge of what you got. Because as I've said in several previous videos and live streams, we are all very individual. You want to know what autism like?
Yeah.
You need to get to know the individual, not the
Yeah.
not the condition.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
I'll
It's
be
easy to forget.
yeah. And when you're a kid, you're taught to well fit in or be alone for the rest of your life, which is quite a sad. I mean, who wants their kid to grow up thinking that they should just fit in like everyone else and toe the line and not be free to express themselves. I mean, yeah, we are not parrots here. Last time I checked.
Yeah. Wow. I oh man. What you're saying about fitting in reminds me of my brain just kind of connects really seemingly disconnected ideas sometimes. And I've been thinking about this metaphor a lot. Um, the mask, right? We're trying to, by putting on a mask, we all do it. We are trying to stay safe. We're trying to not attract any attention. And society, for the most part, teaches people to just kind of homogenize, to just be the same, and it's just safer that way. And in some ways, I get it. It is. It is justified in a way. But I mean, that's not a life. That's not a life to live, right? We're only truly living when it's ourselves. Like here's a good example: a school of fish, right? A school of fish. There's never not just one fish. It's always a school of fish. That's how they travel. That's how fish live. The fish in the middle are usually the safest ones. The
Yeah,
fish in the middle are usually the plumpest. They eat the best, and they're the safest. And uh, the fish on the outside, on the outer edges, tend to be a little smaller, and they can be a target. So it seems. But the thing is that really intelligent predators, there are some predators that look at, right, and this is a metaphor for life, the attention, right? If there were real physical danger, like there is in a
yeah,
school of fish, which I think for some levels of emotion and the way that other people treat other people, it definitely can be real danger that's beyond just a basic or anything type of emotion. Real predators go towards the go for the middle of the school of fish. They attack the slowest, densest part of it. So while it may seem that being in the middle, is where you're most protected, it's actually on the outside. This is just my personal philosophy. It really is on the outside. Why? Because yes, you might be the little less well fed than the middle fish that just kind of look at everything, but the fish on the outside get a view of the ocean. They can see things coming a lot sooner. They can see things coming that the fish in the middle, people who do what everyone else does, who put on that mask, unknowingly, they are just living their life looking at the backs of other fish, right? And so, uh,
yeah.
yeah, I think that we need to take a look at those types of things and realize that while some of that type of danger is real, but we have to live our lives, and it's a difficult balance to strike. But when we're talking about sharing our story, I think that's worth it 100% of the time.
Yeah, 100% of the
Wow,
time. I just want to highlight this response here we've got from Hope,
yes, we've gotten some great responses.
and also Jason with his story. Um, yeah, I mean,
Well, I'll read it
like,
for anybody that's listening rather than viewing. I remember the looks we would get in public when I went out with my younger brother that was autistic and had physical disabilities. People need to stop judging and start accepting, especially within the business world. Especially within the business world,
amen.
because so many it starts a business is led from the top. And one of the side effects of that, there's pros and cons of it, is that like you've mentioned, people as an employee will fall in line. Well, do you want to be the type of person that asks your staff and people within your leadership team to fall in line with a with an old, unuseful or useless way of thinking? Definitely not. Or do you want to be on on the forefront of what is right? And what is right is timeless. There's been so many there's so many sometimes people do things because it's common, but people have always known what's right. And there's always been examples of that in history. Doing what's right, it's obvious. It's obvious.
Yes, it's obvious. It's not always easy, and people do like take the easy way out. Mostly, I think that's just being lazy. And
Yeah, absolutely. I also really like what Amanda has to say, that we much prefer to be noticed for what we can do, not what we can't do or how we're different. Absolutely. W-
absolutely, Amanda.
We're all different. That's the irony. No one is the same. We're all different. That's
Yeah,
why it's so hard to be like somebody else. That's why it's so hard to fit in, because you're not supposed to fit in. We all fit in that we don't fit in. That is the way that we fit in. And the sooner we start to experience that, the better.
and we got one more statement
Okay.
from.
Alvaro, has
Actually, we
this
have two
experience with
statements.
Rockstar X changed the way you view neurodivergent individuals? Oh, interesting. Change the way I view neurodivergent individuals. I Yes, in the sense that I just like the answer that I just gave, which is that we're all different. I now include myself. I notice things about myself that I'm just, I'm careful not to use the term neurodivergent when I'm labeling myself, because I don't really know to what extent. But if you were to ask me if I have experienced difficulty because my way of thinking is radically different and my personality tends to be on kind of like extremes at times, in terms of like being obsessive about things, or yeah, I would put myself, and if things are on a spectrum, then I would put myself in that, within that spectrum. Um, and So as you can see, I'm still kind of like trying to figure that out, but it's definitely opened my eyes to not view um, neurodivergent people as like other than myself, which I've always sensed that, but now it's become a much clearer delineation in the way that I think about the terminology and think about different aspects of my personality. Awesome question, Marisol.
And Jason says the only sustainable model for creating a business is to place people over everything.
Yeah, we are people. A business is well, we got to be careful about that, because of some people might take that into like a legal standing. A business is not a person. You don't get no tax benefits for you, but businesses are made of people. So absolutely, businesses are it's all people. It's ways of thinking. How can we not?
So
So
shout outs
yeah,
to our past guests.
yes.
We've had, and that's two, and they're both in the comments
A round of
today.
applause. A round of applause. Truly, truly. Yeah. No, truly. I mean, what do you think, Joel? I talk too much. What do you think about this?
You talk too much. Really, I thought it was just me. I think regarding what? Sorry.
The patrons. Do you think? Did you even think anybody was going to donate?
No, not really. I mean, um, I sort of I sort of have lower expectations, so then I'm not over expecting and then I'm not disappointed when nothing or something small happens.
Yeah.
If it's something big, but I wasn't too sure that I'd be doing podcast, but yet here we go. We've had your friend on here. I'm still trying to pronounce the name. uh, one day, um,
Marisol
yes, one day I need to get that
Gastelum.
right. Um, and Amanda have been our two guests on our show
Yes.
this year, and our most popular content we have done, which was the Giving Tuesday one, wasn't it, Alvaro?
Yes.
I thought that might be. I thought that might have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, that's that singer that we got for that. I wasn't sure whether she would actually be able to do it because wasn't sure. I've had conversations with her briefly before, but I wasn't sure how much of a celebrity she would be because when you as soon as you get the blue tick on social media, you sort of think you're more or less above everyone else, or any other human being. Which I wasn't sure.
Ah,
Wasn't
I see what
sure.
you're saying.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah, yeah.
sure where if she was like that, but no, she was, and she was actually lovely. Um,
Yeah, yeah, a diva. You were concerned if
yes,
you booked a diva. No, she was
yeah.
amazing. It was immediate. Like it was so apparent immediately on her jumping on and like being on camera and actually seeing her. It was just her energy was just it was obvious. She was a really nice person. She was really nice to talk to.
It was, and none of our patrons are here today.
Mhm.
Mainly because it's the middle of the workday for most people, and middle of getting Christmas ready for others.
Yeah.
But shouting out to our patrons, Jacqueline Scully, um, in our no in particular order, in our Osborne and Sam Morgan. I can't. I or can I say Joseph as well because he's currently in the team as well. So I'm not entirely sure if I should because he. uh, so I'm not sure whether I should mention Joseph as well, but he's on that list as well. He's the fourth um, patron, as well as everything else he does in the
Oh,
team. So our goal for 2023, as 2022 comes to an end, besides the fact I'll be 1 year older, um, is a, a tour based around um, April, springtime, whatever you want to call it, that whatever season it is at that time of year, um, where it can go inside with the biggest or one of the biggest, if not the biggest, music trade shows on the planet, created by NAM in the Anaheim Convention Center, which is on your doorstep, I think, Alvaro.
yeah,
Or it
it's
will be.
it's a little bit yeah, exactly, exactly.
and also speaking gigs and for HR and financing. You're going to have to explain that to me because I didn't understand that bit. HR and financing
See here.
in in
Yeah, so I made some notes. So the financing that's apparent. Looking to that connects with your um mission for RockstarX to find
yeah.
a physical venue to not just generate revenue from, but also to create a space, a physical safe space for neurodivergent individuals, not just to be creative. So like a quiet space, different other things that Joel's mentioned in the past about the actual needs of the space, like quiet, independence, plenty of physical room, like spread out, but also to learn about business, to learn about running a venue, for example, running a studio space, all of
Yeah.
these types of work skills, those are super, super important to to that mission of generating revenue over the long run and finding a physical space. But the HR aspect is I made a single bullet point. It was 2 letters, and it's I should have elaborated more. And it's this. The purpose of Joel going to the United States or coming to the United States, we're here, just LA, Southern California area, is to connect with these large organizations, these music equipment manufacturers, not just to develop partnerships and to create perks for our community members, the recipients of the care and the facilities and people who would actually be using those facilities or services as an organization, but also to for Joel to go to these organizations and speak to their teams and show them how to better spot needs of neurodivergent individuals to be ahead of the curve and to understand the value of thinking different and not treating specific people as less. So when I say HR, it's to have those HR related conversations and to create that positive change within the HR community. It's starting with the music organizations that Joel is so deeply already and has been for years tied with. So that's what I meant.
And when you say for years, I've just this year, what no, last year, I actually signed on the dotted line and became affiliated with the said companies, which I'm covering up today with my company page. But yes, and also speaking to, it'd be nice to get to know some of the and speak to some of the big players, shall we say, in the film and television as well.
Yeah.
While I'm there, and get more people into those type of gigs as well. Where
Yeah. Yeah. So really aligning with what Chasen was saying earlier of
yeah,
creating that change from the inside out, starting with the places where people most often come together, which is work,
yes,
their jobs, and really creating change from the inside out that way. So yeah, love that, Joel.
and when you started with your new with LA Techs, I was like, my brain's gone into a whole different um, dimension and
Yeah.
ideas around that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and so what Joel is talking about is I started a new position as the director of marketing and business development for LA Techs. They're a home automation integrator. So think like AV, but not event AV. AV, a lot of people think like DJ setups and music festival equipment, that kind of AV. But for this or the industry that I'm in, it's a lot of technology. It's home automation TVs that come out of the floor and things like that. Really, really cool, fancy home theaters and things like that. Um, so I'm a total nerd. I love technology, but it's all centered around me really loving music. That's, you know, I love speakers because I love music, and so that's where all of that comes from. But um, I'm excited to see where that will take me, and I know that individuals within every community are open to donating,
Yeah,
to attending like auction type events. So I'm excited to figure out how we can connect the world of events, the world of luxury, and tie those into donorship at a local community level. That's really the vision that I have And I know, Joel, we haven't really had a chance to talk about it, so I'm just kind of laying it out here. I know you already see that.
If you stick around after this, we can then have a chat.
Yeah, yeah. Well, great. I
Um,
mean, it's 9:50, well, it's 9:52 a.m. in the US. It's been 52 minutes here for me. Um,
55 at the moment.
oh, okay, okay. Is it because of the time change? Because over there,
No, the
I'm
live
kidding.
time
I'm kidding.
we've been live for 55
Yeah.
minutes.
Oh, I see. Oh, right, right,
Um,
right. Because it was 2 minutes before. Yeah.
um, yeah, so I think that with the home automation, it's precisely, I don't know about you, correct me if I'm wrong,
Hmm.
but you need guys who are neurodiverse or girls or people, shall we just skip over the grey areas, and who do think
Absolutely.
differently and can come up with stuff like this.
Yes. STEM, science, technology, engineering, maths, right?
Always wondered what that stood for.
I mean, it's human advancement is dependent on people that think differently. It's,
Yes.
I mean, so it's crazy that we don't prioritize people. Oh, not prioritize people that think differently, but prioritizing the fact that everyone thinks differently and thinks uniquely, and that even if someone has a passion for the same industry, there are still different
Yeah.
personalities within each of those specializations, right? There are engineers who some are more abstract and others are more logical, and there are
Mm.
and that there's a whole gamut of experience and personality within every single layer of society. And so the closer, it's a difficult mission. So that's why I'm glad to see that Rockstar has made as much progress as it has. Um, and I know it will continue because the mission at its core is a fundamental human mission,
Yes.
which is uh, to give people the permission and to be an example for being yourself, plain and simple. And that's really, it sounds very ooh, and I can be a very like I
Yeah.
can be a hippie about it for sure, but it's just the truth. It's just the truth. Einstein or any of these people, if they're like they were truly concerned about what other people thought, I mean, who knows? Who knows what would be where we'd be at?
Sitting in the dark and in some cases literally.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've given that example before, and it's it's my it's my patting myself on the back. It's my favorite thing I've ever come up with, and I don't know if other people have thought about this before too. But can you imagine? Because you said in the dark. Can you imagine if humans didn't share information with other people? There wasn't the social aspect. Fire, one person keeping fire
Yeah.
to themselves, and that secret or that discovery just dying with them. I mean, it's absurd. It's unimaginable to me, and it's just not the reality of how we are. So I'm very happy to be on this mission with you, and I mean, it's just the beginning. I mean, just in that little bit of time that I've been here, we made great progress.
We've
So
we've also
yeah,
got three partnerships. Again, one's in the comments right now, Jason. And tying up on December 29th uh, will be another partnership with the London-based studio,
yes,
which we've already had a conversation with, and he's very much on board. So, um, with any luck, next year we'll be able to make that official as well and the official
yes,
announcement. Um, and what? So to get the tour really kicking off, we need to do what Joseph has asked me to keep doing today. I ask people. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know
Yeah, there you go.
anyone who who can do this. Um, explain a bit more what the visa process and getting one, because I've obviously when we go over to the tour, we do also want to set up an entity in the US with RockstarX as well, so that can be managed when I'm not there. Or alternatively, best scenario, being there full time, to work from there rather than here. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know any. I don't know what kind of lawyer we need. I know we need an. I don't think if it may be an immigration. It may be immigration.
Yeah.
Um, but if anyone out there listening to us today knows of anyone who is in that field and could potentially do either a pro bono sort of thing or a literally a ask question now, pay later sort of thing. Worry
Or
about the
like a
money at a
trade,
different time. Yeah.
yeah, bartering, yeah.
Um, at
Yeah,
the moment with a startup,
mhm.
it would be very much appreciated if they got in touch with me or Alvaro. I think you said you may know someone.
Yes, I'm working on that. So what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish here, because I just got a question here. What we're trying to accomplish is, um,
You got a question?
somebody just messaged me directly on
Oh,
LinkedIn.
okay.
And so the and so the goal is to, well, here's the difficulty. Joel coming to the US, first of all, we want to expand our impact here in California specifically, but and then expand into the rest of the United States. The difficulty though is, for example, for the actual speaking tour, to get a visa, and Joel can just visit. Joel can come to the US,
Yes.
but to work in the US, for because the tour is work, whether it's paid or unpaid, technically it's work. No, and any other type of activity that's outside of just visiting is also work. So the goal is to connect with someone who can help us understand what needs to be done to actually make it legit, because we're not trying to circumvent anything.
No,
This is, we're trying to
absolutely
do
not.
this, yeah, to exactly. um and So that's really the goal. And we can't speak too much about that right now because there's quite a few different plans and things that are being worked on in the background, but that's our goal.
It's
So
news to
if
me. I didn't
you
know it.
know so if you know anybody that understands international visas, or like work visas or that type of realm, or maybe you know a lawyer, somebody on the legal side, that knows someone else, an introduction would be very much appreciated.
Yeah.
And we promise not to take up a bunch of their time. We could even just, we have something to put together. We could just email it out, make it very time easy for whoever is involved, and we promise to treat them with respect and not to bother them and bug them all the time. So we want this to be as professional as possible. So that's the ask. I'm glad that you remembered, Joel, and that you went for it. That's awesome.
Is that the new ASAP now, Alvaro?
Yeah. You
um,
are an example. You continue to be an example for the type of person that you're trying to be, which is proactive and courageous. So I applaud you for that.
not the first ask I've done today either.
Awesome. Nice. Yeah, yeah. Well,
Um, so if does anyone else have any other questions today? Um,
one more announcement. Marisol, a lot of people enjoyed, everyone enjoyed having Marisol on the last session for I believe it was Giving Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was Giving Tuesday. Yes. And so while uh, trying not to put too much pressure on her, but I've
Sometimes
been,
pressure is good.
yeah, we've been requested to kind of diversify our core group here a bit, and so while we
More
were
members.
always open to that, I think that this new connection with Marisol just happened naturally, which is the best way that it could have happened, and which is great. And so she will be on our show more often. She is going to be part of our meetings, and so I say that because we've gotten some requests saying you need some female energy, you need some different, and so it's not just the front. Marisol is not just going to be on the on the podcast episodes, and then that's it. She she's she's we are open to anyone being as much a part of the core group, not our core group, of the core group, because we're all doing this together, as much as they want, as much as you want. So if you want to be part of this mission with us, Rockstar X, we're building it as we go. So there is structure. So if you're the type of person that says you guys need structure, or not you guys, but like superlative, right? You Rockstar X needs structure. Well, if you see it, it's probably for you to do something about it,
Yeah.
right? Because terrible example, but there's some people who are not very like clean, that they don't clean a lot, and so if it like dishes and things like that at home. So if that person naturally did it, they would have done it already. Is my point. I'm not
Yeah.
forgiving laziness. Like I said, just a terrible example. But what I mean is, when we see something, it's most likely for us to do it. If I have an idea, I'm like, probably for me to execute, and I would suggest that for everyone else. So be part of this with us. We would love it. We will 100% include you as an individual, as a unique individual, and that's what all of this is all about. Uh, we need the help to make various aspects of this organization, which we're trying to make it worldwide, to run, and not just run, but run efficiently. And we're going to need great people to do that. And so we have some momentum. And if that's you, then we'd be happy to show you more. So I guess
And
that's my ask.
absolutely, Alvaro. I've been, so I've been sending sending what you sent me out to people. Um, wasn't sure in what format, so I've done the DMs more than the emails. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, good.
um, so yes, we are looking to we might go just speak it now as well now. Alvaro.
Hmm.
Um, we are so we are, as we said, we are looking to move operations, or add operations, shall I say, add operations to the US. And the only way we know how to do that, I've done research, and my limited knowledge on this is uh, very limited. Another word, really. And so we're looking for seed seed money, I believe, of in the excess of 1 million, so we can then set up there, start employing people, and I will be so excited. So when I can start actually paying people, uh, and yeah, it's not many people are excited when they start paying people, but
Yeah, yeah.
in my case, I would be very excited to start paying people, paying staff members, having staff to um having staff both neurodiverse and not neurodiverse. in the same room and highlighting highlighting our mission in our own company. Because
Yes.
the last thing, well,
100%.
I for one, and Alvaro, I think most of us agree with this. Don't like have lose a lot of respect and don't like companies who are hypocrites. I'm not mentioning any
Hmm.
names, but I
Hmm.
know several.
Hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, Jason, you didn't tell me this, but I just noticed on LinkedIn. I went on LinkedIn to try and find the message that Alvaro sent me to send to people, and I think we are completely missing this. Um, and happy birthday! I just noticed I just noticed Dawn Kelly's post. Happy birthday! Happy birthday, Jason.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Jason.
Just
Ooh, wouldn't it
noticed
be
that.
cool? Wouldn't it be cool to do some community features? That's
Yeah,
yeah. I would love to do that. Not right now. I don't want to take up any more of
I mean
anybody
you
else's
could if
time,
you
but
want to, but we have Uh,
yeah.
before we go, although I was going to put together a full length recap video of all of the highlights of 2022. There just wasn't any time, so that's going to come when it's finished. Now, I was trying to get it
Amazing.
done by today, but I've only got 20 seconds. 20-second one. Um, so I this is this is our 2022 in a nutshell, and the new music as well by yours truly.
Awesome. No, no,
I couldn't do
that
the
looks
full
great.
one, but that's a 20 second snippet of our 2022 in a nutshell. And the full one obviously will be coming out whenever it's finished, or whenever my computer will allow me to actually finish it off, because obviously
Yeah.
Adobe Premiere takes up an awful lot of battery, heat, and power.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
thank you for everyone who has joined us today on our live stream and our last one of 2022.
Yeah.
Um, we look forward to seeing everyone back in 2020. We look forward to seeing everyone um, as we move forward. But for now, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and everything else. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
and
Thank you to everyone. Absolutely.
and yes, we will see you in 2023. Thank you, everyone.